Every child born with innocence and purity is an angel gifted to their parents. There's a saying, a child without a mother is like a tree without roots. However, a recent court ruling in Canada has brought many to tears and sighs over the fate of a little girl named Chloe. Chloe's birth captured the attention of many Canadians, but her death caused even deeper sorrow. People wondered, was it the mother's negligence or the failure of Canada's welfare system that led to this tragedy? In March 2024, the Ottawa court convicted the 30-year-old boyfriend of Chloe's mother on 6 charges, including willful neglect leading to Chloe's death. By the end of June, he was sentenced to 14 years in prison without parole. Then, in early July 2024, the media revealed that the girl's mother was also charged with similar allegations and would stand trial in January next year. There's a saying, even a tiger doesn't eat its young. But when humans turn dark, they may not recognize their own kin. This case is very rare. Media agencies had to battle through multiple rounds of litigation to gradually shed light on and report the case. Consequently, we had to work hard to gather information about it. Let's go back to Sunday, May 10th, 2015, which was also Mother's Day. On Air Canada flight AC009 from Calgary to Tokyo, flying over Russian territory at thousands of meters above the Pacific Ocean. Most passengers were asleep, and the cabin was very quiet. Suddenly a noise came from the rear economy class. A young man frantically called for the flight attendant while his girlfriend clutched her stomach in apparent pain. The flight attendant hurried over and asked what was happening. The man said, "I don't know. My girlfriend suddenly has severe stomach pain." At this point, the flight attendant quickly assisted the woman to a more spacious area at the front of the plane. However, halfway there, she could no longer bear it and had to lie down on the floor. The captain immediately called for any experienced passengers to help, and 3 doctors among the passengers came forward to assist. After receiving an IV and Tylenol, the woman was moved to a first-class seat. She then said to everyone, "Something is about to come out of my stomach." A doctor beside her quickly asked, "Are you pregnant?" The woman shook her head. The man, still bewildered, said, "We only had relations last month. She can't be pregnant." At this point, no one cared about those details anymore. The doctor instructed the woman to breathe deeply and push. Soon after, the cries of a newborn girl echoed through the cabin, bringing relief to everyone. Nothing bad happened, and both mother and baby were healthy. The young mother made it just in time to celebrate her first Mother's Day. The passengers on the plane each took turns congratulating her. It was truly a special miracle. The flight attendant thoughtfully wrapped the newborn girl in a blanket. At this moment, a photograph that would later shake Canada was taken. The captain, encouraged by the good news, flew the plane with renewed spirit. Finally, the flight landed at Narita Airport in Tokyo, half an hour ahead of schedule. The Japanese ground medical team had been informed in advance and were ready to take immediate care of the mother and baby. This young couple, who gave birth at an altitude of 10,000 meters, met online. They had only been dating for about a year and were living together in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Their trip was to visit a relative in Japan, with the plane tickets provided by the woman's family. The woman's name was Ada Guan, who was just 23 years old at the time and from Calgary, Alberta. She had a temporary job. The man, Wesley Branch, was 24 years old and from Penticton, British Columbia. He was a former employee of a moving company and was currently unemployed. The newborn girl was named Chloe, the first grandchild in the Branch family. The news brought great joy to Chloe's paternal grandparents. However, one detail caught the attention of some observant individuals. In media interviews, Wesley often spoke, while Ada only talked when directly addressed. Consequently, the public frequently saw Wesley holding their daughter. This dynamic laid the foundation for their future relationship. Of course, in the days following Chloe's birth, both the baby and mother stayed at a very good hospital in Tokyo, Japan. Once their conditions were stable, they were discharged and moved to their relatives' home in Japan. During this time, Japanese and Canadian media extensively covered the event. Thanks to this coverage, Chloe, Ada, and Wesley received many necessary baby items donated by Japanese citizens, as well as support from the Canadian Embassy in Japan. Chloe's birth certificate and passport were processed expeditiously, and the embassy even gifted the young couple a baby stroller. The family happily returned to Canada shortly after. CBC Radio interviewed them, with the host particularly interested in the hospital experience and costs for the mother and baby in Japan. Wesley responded that the Japanese hospital services were excellent, and in the end, they only had to pay 2,000 Canadian dollars. We might not be very familiar with Japan's healthcare system, but 2,000 Canadian dollars for a few days in a hospital for uninsured foreigners in Tokyo doesn't seem too high. Compared to the thousands of dollars a day in the US without insurance, it's quite reasonable. However, even this 2,000 Canadian dollars was not a small amount for the young couple. They had to set up a GoFundMe page to help cover a portion of the hospital expenses. Later, the CBC host asked the question on everyone's mind. Ada, when did you realize you were pregnant and about to give birth? Ada replied, when I was moved to first class on the plane. Wesley immediately added, Ada was having severe contractions in first class. I was right beside her, holding her hand tightly. When we checked her body, we saw our daughter's head. It was crazy. That's when I realized I was about to become a father. The host, still in disbelief, asked Ada, you really had no idea you were pregnant? Ada responded, no, I just thought I was gaining weight, which happens to me often. On the plane, I was terrified because of the intense stomach pain and thought I was dying. Wesley interjected, we did suspect something was off, but a test a few weeks earlier showed 99.99% that she wasn't pregnant. Anyway, a miracle happened. I'm so proud and happy. We have such a lovely daughter. Finally, the host asked a very important question. Ada, how does it feel to suddenly become a mother? Ada glanced at Wesley several times, and then they looked at each other. Wesley hugged Ada, and Ada said, we are very excited. We will overcome all difficulties. Wesley said, I will do my best to take good care of this little family. Notably, according to Air Canada's official website, pregnant women can fly if they have no history of preterm labor and are not beyond 36 weeks of pregnancy. Typically, babies born between 38 and 40 weeks are not considered premature. It is unclear if Ada was considered premature. Although Ada said she occasionally had stomach pains, her doctor did not detect her pregnancy during regular checkups. Due to Ada's small frame, no one, including the airport ground staff, recognized her as pregnant. Some media speculated that Ada was 37 weeks pregnant. Regardless, the airline wanted to send their congratulations to her and her family. However, a news program couldn't resist joking that although the baby born on the plane was very healthy, the mother might need to pay a fine for carrying an extra piece of carry-on luggage. This incident captivated Canadians at the time, as babies born on planes are very rare. The first known in-flight birth occurred in 1929 in Florida, USA. The most recent happened on January 19, 2023, on an Emirates flight from Tokyo, Japan to Dubai. A 2020 article in the International Journal of Travel Medicine tallied in-flight births on commercial flights from 1929 to 2018, totaling 74 cases, or roughly 1 per 26 million passengers, nearly the same odds as winning a lottery jackpot. However, among these, 3 newborns did not survive. This rarity explains why many airlines prohibit pregnant women from flying between 38 and 40 weeks. The thin air at high altitudes is not conducive to newborn breathing, and their ears are very sensitive to air pressure. Additionally, medical capabilities on planes are very limited, with a lack of medical personnel and equipment. While a normal delivery might be manageable, a cesarean section would pose significant risks to both mother and baby. Furthermore, the nationality of newborns is a complex issue. Planes are considered extensions of their registered country's territories, but the skies they fly through belong to different nations. Some countries grant citizenship based on birth location, leading to potential nationality ambiguities for babies born on planes, complicating legal processes. For example, Chloe is clearly Canadian, but immigration lawyers have pointed out that if she were born over U.S. airspace, she might be eligible for U.S. citizenship. Chloe was fortunate at birth, but no one anticipated the hardships she would face upon returning to Canada. Wesley's mother told the media that Ada and Wesley were immature parents, unprepared for Chloe's sudden arrival. They didn't know how to care for their daughter or understand her needs, leading to frequent arguments. When Chloe was less than a month old, a social worker from British Columbia asked Wesley's mother to spend a week helping the new parents with some guidance. She stayed at Ada and Wesley's home in Victoria by invitation. To her surprise, Wesley asked her to take Chloe for a month so they could go on vacation. At that moment, Wesley's mother realized the couple was too selfish and trouble was inevitable. However, after helping care for Chloe for a week, she left Victoria and returned home. Indeed, in August 2015, 3 months after Chloe was born, due to Ada and Wesley's escalating arguments that risked violence, British Columbia's welfare agency removed Chloe from their care and placed her in temporary foster care. By the end of 2015, Ada and Wesley had broken up. Ada then returned to Calgary, where she had grown up. Consequently, British Columbia's welfare agency transferred Chloe to Alberta's welfare agency. By early 2016, Alberta's welfare agency officially took over Chloe's guardianship. However, Chloe's tragic fate continued. Ada's father, Sam Guan, and her stepmother, Lily Wang, had been married since the late 1990s and lived in Calgary. Lily had 3 sons from a previous marriage, making them Ada's half-brothers. One of them, Bass Wang, became the family spokesperson in Chloe's case. Bass stated that Alberta's welfare agency placed Chloe with Sam and Lily. When she first arrived, Chloe was very shy and easily frightened, showing signs of insecurity. It took some time before she began to trust their love and gradually opened up. Chloe started to interact with those around her, living a happy and joyful life like any other child. During Sam and Lily's care for Chloe, Alberta's welfare agency arranged weekly visits with her biological parents for what was supposed to be family time. However, social workers noticed that Ada and Wesley often found excuses to cancel these scheduled visits. Even when they did attend, their attention was clearly not on their daughter. They appeared distracted and reluctant. It was evident that their presence was merely obligatory. As Alberta's social workers gradually concluded that Ada and Wesley were unfit to be parents, they began to ask Sam and Lily if they would consider adopting Chloe as family. Sam and Lily then held a family meeting. They expressed their willingness to adopt Chloe, with Ada's half-brothers offering strong support and promising to help whenever necessary. According to rumors, Sam and Lily even submitted the necessary paperwork for adoption. Alberta's welfare agency also interviewed them regarding the matter. However, to everyone's surprise, Alberta's welfare agency ultimately decided to return Chloe to Ada. Sam and Lily were deeply disappointed by this decision. Social workers explained that the government always prioritizes reuniting children with their biological parents. As a result, Chloe, then 3.5 years old, was returned to her mother, Ada, at the end of 2018. In February of the following year, Ada moved to Ottawa with Chloe to live with her new boyfriend, Justin, whom she had met online. This time, Justin assumed the role of a father figure in Chloe's life. From that point on, Ada ceased all contact with her biological father, Sam, and stepmother, Lily. Consequently, they had no further news about Chloe. Then, on the afternoon of May 15, 2020, after pandemic restrictions were lifted, Chloe returned to her mother, Ada. About 1.5 years later, just 5 days after her 5th birthday, Chloe was found dead, wrapped in a filthy blanket in her bedroom at their home in Ottawa. It was only then that Justin reluctantly called for emergency services. The forensic report revealed that Chloe's bladder had ruptured a week before her death, but no one took her to receive medical treatment. As urea gradually accumulated in her bloodstream, Chloe suffered from acute renal failure, which eventually progressed to end-stage renal disease, leading to her death. Medical experts stated that end-stage renal failure causes extreme pain, vomiting, inability to walk, loss of bladder and bowel control, and ultimately seizures and coma. The judge stated that Justin knew that taking Chloe to the hospital would prompt questions about her old injuries. Justin admitted during police interrogation that he had voiced these concerns to his girlfriend, Ada. Ada testified in court that she had suggested not taking Chloe to the hospital to avoid angering Justin. Rumors suggested that Justin was a controlling person with deep-seated insecurities. Due to pandemic isolation policies, he had developed a severe drinking problem, which exacerbated his violent temper. Ada told the judge that she could no longer endure Justin's abusive behavior towards her daughter, but whenever she tried to break up with him, he threatened to kill both her and Chloe. As for what caused Chloe's bladder rupture, the forensic report could not provide a clear explanation. In the 7 days following Chloe's bladder rupture, Justin and Ada's only actions were searching the internet for ways to save Chloe. They looked up topics like how to feed a child after vomiting, why constipation makes walking difficult, why 5 days of rest still did not improve mobility, whether low blood sugar causes dizziness, why fainting occurs, and what to eat after fainting. From these searches, we can imagine the tragic final days Chloe endured. Despite Justin's numerous excuses to mitigate his culpability, he claimed that on the morning of Chloe's death, she appeared healthy and cheerful, even calling him Dad. He said he helped her change her diaper and had breakfast together. However, the forensic report indicated that Chloe was in a critical condition, likely comatose at that time. These false statements, which did not align with the facts, only made him appear more untrustworthy. In June 2021, a year after Chloe's death, Justin was officially arrested by Canadian police. Due to the pandemic, the case didn't conclude until June 2024, 3 years later. Justin was sentenced to 14 years in prison. Initially, the prosecutor hoped for a 16-year sentence, while the defense lawyer argued that this was Justin's first offense. The lawyer also claimed that Justin had mental health issues and had suffered a troubled childhood with an abusive stepfather. Therefore, the court should give Justin a chance at rehabilitation, believing that a 16-year sentence was too harsh and suggesting 10 to 12 years as more reasonable. Ultimately, the judge settled on a middle ground of 14 years. Looking back at the entire case, a severe oversight was discovered. Chloe was never placed on the radar of Ottawa's welfare agency. No legal department from any province had informed them about Chloe's situation. Sadly, it was only after the tragedy that Ottawa's welfare agency began to investigate. By then, it was too late. Currently, it is unclear whether Alberta's welfare agency continued to monitor Chloe's situation after handing her over to Ada. Did they know that Chloe was moved to Ottawa? If they did, it's evident that Alberta's welfare agency did not transfer Chloe's file to the relevant authorities in Ottawa. Did they close Chloe's case and stop following up? The most critical question is why Alberta's welfare agency returned Chloe to Ada and how Ada convinced social workers to grant her custody. Many questions remain unanswered and may never be answered because Alberta's welfare agency has stated that Alberta's privacy laws prevent them from discussing any specific cases. It's evident that there are flaws in the Canadian government's operational mechanisms. If these gaps are not addressed, similar tragedies are likely to occur in the future. As for Chloe's biological father, Wesley, it was his and the paternal grandparents' demand for answers that allowed the Ottawa court to let the media cover the case. Wesley told the media that after his breakup with Ada, he had no idea where Chloe was. He was devastated when he received the call from Ottawa police informing him of his daughter's death. He blamed himself for not trying harder to remain in Chloe's life and felt betrayed by the government system that failed to change the outcome or fate of his daughter. He said, "I am living in a nightmare every day." Dear viewers, this is a human tragedy. While I may not be able to detail the entire process of the case, I feel deep sadness and regret for these victims. I only hope that parents around the world can give their children the love and care they deserve, and that there will never be another Chloe. Chloe was born fortunate, receiving global attention and blessings, but tragically into an unkind and irresponsible family. Throughout this case, one perplexing point is that Ada was clearly unfit to be a mother, yet she insisted on keeping custody of Chloe. The decision by Canada's welfare agency is also baffling. They overlooked the loving paternal grandparents and handed Chloe back to Ada. What's more infuriating is that they didn't check on Chloe for a year and a half afterward. They should have at least informed the relevant welfare agency in Ottawa, right? Currently, only Justin has been sentenced to prison, but we believe that Ada, who has also been prosecuted, will soon receive her due punishment. Stay tuned, as the outcome of Ada's trial will be announced in January 2025. Crime Documentary Files will keep you updated on the case's progress. Today's story teaches us a lesson. To be a mother requires strength. As women, besides protecting ourselves, we must ensure our children grow up in a safe environment, free from anxiety and with timely care. That concludes today's story. If you enjoyed my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you again, and see you next time.